Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair.
And I'm that long-haired creepy guy.
Many of you watching should be aware by now that me and Creepy do a monthly crossover to bring awareness of the Patreon campaign that is using to fund our big trip to Japan.
Decker?
What? Oh, right.
That's better. Can we get on with this, please? I still have to subject Creepy to several musicals as punishment for all the bad movies he forces me to watch.
Certainly, and as it happens, I've already selected the movie for this month's crossover.
Hold on a minute, Decker. Perhaps Chibi Thulu or I should pick one for the crossover this time.
After what happened with Great Big Man Japan, or whatever. Yes! I completely agree! Also, we would finally get to cover Perfect Blue like I recommended months ago.
We'll do Perfect Blue some other time. I'm going to need to come up with some reason for the Patreon campaign to exist after this is done with. But anyway, I'm going to review something this week that I think all of us can enjoy. Legs.
Decker!
More specifically, we're going to look at Traveler's Dimension Police, a movie absolutely filled with long, luscious legs that fit in tight hot pants and travel to alternate realities. Unfortunately, unlike the Terminator franchise, you don't have to be naked to go through the portals.
Decker, focus, please.
Hey, I am focused.
On the plot.
Oh, plot. Right. Well, Traveler stars Nia Nagasawa as a Dimension Police top agent I. She engages in various investigations across many parallel worlds, and a deep, dark secret begins to unravel, as she must don many an outfit to enhance the powers of her shapely form, most in particular her breasts and her legs.
Okay, that's enough. I think we should start the movie. Otherwise, we may never find out what the film is even about.
Agreed. Though, if it has as much fan service as Decker seems to think, this whole review is going to be like this.
Our story opens with...
A frickin' seizure.
Original world? Is that anything like original flavor?
No, this dimension is more like the Diet Cola version, Decker.
Inside the police command center, we meet Zordon, who is directing his personal squad of sexy female operators.
Damn. After Zordon quit mentoring teenagers, he turned into a stud.
And Alpha 5 never looked that good to me before.
Thank you, Decker. Now I have Rule 34 Alpha 5 stuck in my head.
Ay.
Moving right along, before I start thinking about it, we find ourselves in Retro World, a place where the Super Nintendo is still cool. Our protagonist, I, parks her interdimensional car and steps out, giving us an establishing shot of her high heels and hot pants.
Wow.
Creepy?
Are you okay, sir?
What? Sorry. I just, got distracted there for a minute.
I has a brief conversation with Alpha 5, who is monitoring her from back at the station in Original World. This suddenly and jarringly segues into an opening credits music video full of spoilers. Well, shit, after all that, I guess there's no point in doing the review. Now we can roll the credits.
If you follow that logic, there won't be any more fan service for you to stare at.
I seem to recall you getting distracted by the fan service as well, mere seconds ago, Creepy.
Oh, yeah. Let's go back to reviewing the movie. In short order, I locates the homicidal interdimensional woman killer she was sent to arrest, and catches a glimpse of her former partner before Psycho Killer tosses an exploding knife at I. That just might be the weirdest sentence I have ever spoken. And on this show, that is quite an accomplishment.
You must be so proud. And your viewers are no doubt even more confused than usual.
I have a feeling they're used to it by now.
I moves in to apprehend the dimension-hopping serial killer with the exploding knives, and we get our first gratuitous fight scene complete with ass and crotch shots. Exploding, knife-wielding maniac manages to get away, but rather than give chase, I decides to consult with Alpha 5.
次にあいつが現れそうなポイントは予測できる?
Well, if you wanted to catch him, why didn't you just go and catch him instead of letting him run away?
It would have ended the scene too soon, Decker.
How does he manage to succeed as an internet reviewer when he can't grasp such basic tropes?
I is instead forced to wrangle information from an informant who is only slightly less perverted and gropey than Decker.
Hey!
お茶に興味なし。
じゃあ、僕には興味あるってこと?
Why doesn't she just beat the information out of him like other cops so we can move on?
His offering of free candy, mysteriously lacking a van to go with it, still causes I to feel a great unease. But this lead brings us the knowledge that in this dimension, the psycho killer is a school teacher, and I is his wife. Well, that saves a bundle on extras.
It's a common staple of movies with trans-dimensional plots. Considering your experience with this trope comes down to the one, I'm not surprised by your shock.
Ai saves her counterpart from Psycho Killer, but then has to contend with her former partner, Yui Mamose, played by Ayumi Kinoshita. We get our second gratuitous fight with even more high kicks and ass shots, before someone nearly shoots Ai in the ass, distracting her long enough for Yui to slip away, and then she gets to arrest Psycho Man.
Wait, when did the Psycho Killer get knocked out?
No, she knocked him out before Yui showed up.
Doesn't that seem kind of important?
Well, there was also this part with Psycho Killer stabbing a man to death in the street for no apparent reason, and there was this flashback with Yui and Yui's dead brother and all this other stuff, and we're only at the 11-minute mark. We have to get through this, and there's a lot of shit going on.
You're not at all concerned that people will get lost?
Yeah, I've watched the whole thing, and I still don't know what the hell's going on.
Ai returns to Original World Police Station. Here, Zordon explains that the Psycho Killer is connected to an even bigger bad, a terrorist organization known only as The Doubt.
Does he mean this guy?
Not that doubt. Creepy.
Decker isn't possessed, creepy. Showing that clip is completely uncalled for.
Hey, considering how strange the movie has been so far, the next scene could very well feature a song and dance number from a guy dressed in purple.
Actually, it's legs before the interrogation where Psycho Man doesn't offer any useful information, and then he explodes. Whatever.
Makes sense to me.
Agreed. I think most interrogations should end with the room needing a good scrubbing.
The most important establishing moments for this part of the movie are legs, and boobs, and rump. And then we unexpectedly go back in time via flashback to find out why Ai's partner is her ex-partner. Seems Yui's brother who had been killed had not been killed, and when he showed up with the terrorists, selled out, and asked Yui to come with him, she was like, oh, okay. We've had more plot twists in the last 20 minutes than most J-dramas have for the whole season.
I almost want to say that we've had as many plot twists as When the Cicadas Cry, but that'd be pushing it.
Following yet more fan service, Zordon introduces yet another character and a dimension to the story. Ai has to travel to Fairy World and ensure the safety of a generator. It turns out, however, that Yui also has a counterpart in this dimension, who is an evil newscaster slash terrorist slash revolutionary slash sorceress.
What?
It's true. Don't blame this one on me. I didn't write the script.
Are you certain, creepy? It seems weird enough to be something out of your mind.
To keep things succinct, though that may not help matters, Ai has been sent to protect a fortune teller named Haruka Saegusa, played by Yuko Takayama, who has a family trinket that augments magical powers. Yui's Fairy World evil counterpart reveals herself to be an evil Mary Poppins on top of everything else, landing near the town square so she can steal the power trinket and stay young and popular forever.
No. She's a revolutionary.
A revolutionary for what? They haven't established anything about her in this whole movie so far.
Other than her being vain and self-absorbed, you mean?
Ai puts an end to evil Mary Poppins Yui by asking her politely to stop. The ultra-powerful sorceress realizes she's kind of a cunt thanks to this, and destroys herself via lightning strike. Yeah, that subplot was important.
It showed how it established that Yui and I were... You know what? It was still the first scene we've had in several minutes that was low on fan service.
I don't need more reasons not to like it. Original Yui and her brother appear shortly after, so Magic Maid drags Ai through the space warp, which has the unfortunate consequence of tossing Ai out into the Lost World, where color saturation is set to a mere 20%.
Wonderful. As if the Jurassic Park sequels weren't bad enough.
And with my luck, she would have ended up trapped in Creepy's closet.
Don't be ridiculous, Decker. I would never keep a Japanese woman in my closet. Although I could, I suppose, if she were into that sort of thing.
Ai tries to have a conversation with Alpha 5, but her communication watch has lousy reception for some reason. She then gets chased off by the continuity police, but gives them the slip, disguising herself with a single piece of animal skin.
Ai is demonstrating Scooby-Doo levels of disguise capability using her Sheena Queen of the Jungle costume.
Now let's see who Ai really is! Oh.
Decker, leave the Scooby gags to the professionals.
The continuity police do manage to chase I down eventually. Now captured, I is dragged off to participate in the BDSM Olympics.
Yeah, the movie, I don't have this fetish, so we can move on.
このボディースーツなんだけど、ある程度の衝撃は吸収するから、痛くも痒くもないんだよね。
Doesn't that mean they could just take her clothes off? Please?
What happened to you not having this fetish?
The possibility of Japanese female nudity negates all fetish retardant when it comes to Decker. You should know this already, creepy.
I's status in this dimension is revealed to be that of a lifer, but the continuity police are shocked to find out that the eye of this world is still in her cell. At this point, the BDSM session is interrupted as Alpha 5 teleports in to kick all the asses. Which makes me appreciate that this Alpha 5 is a hell of a lot more useful than the one I'm familiar with.
Hey, Alpha 5 saved the Ranger and the Command Center multiple times during the first 4 seasons. He even managed to keep the base from blowing up a time or two.
He's a walking, talking, annoying PDA.
On this, we can agree to a certain point. This Alpha knows Kung Fu, making him instantly more awesome.
Alpha tries to take I back through the space warp, but it turns out that this method of travel is less stable than using the space warp car. Yui and her brother arrive in mid-transfer to offer to help, but I declines, instead choosing to fall back into Retro World. I's making a habit of this kind of entrance.
She should really stop before she suffers permanent damage.
Or develops Three Stooges syndrome.
I is taken in by Retro World's answer to Yui and her brother. The investigation stalls at this point in favor of more fan service, specifically legs. It turns out, however, that Retro Yui and her brother helped I out due to her Retro World counterpart dying from an exploding knife that was left behind in the first scene.
So remember, kids, never leave exploding knives just lying around. It could be dangerous and fatal to peripheral characters.
This PSA has been brought to you by the Decker Shado Patreon campaign.
You two are getting desperate.
Overcome with the feels, I takes off so she can interrogate Candyman on whether or not he knew she was Retro Psycho Killer's wife. Candyman dodges this by informing her that the Doubt is on the move. Hearing this, I rushes back, only to find out that everyone has been horribly killed.
What? Did Josh Whedon pen this script?
I just say Josh Whedon.
A female protagonist and proficient fighter learns that everyone she cares about is being murdered off. Why haven't you marathoned Buffy like I told you to? Shame, Decker. Shame.
Yeah, no time for that now. We've got high kicking to watch. After I fights the two agents off and screams for a bit, Yui and her brother arrive along with a magic maid, whom can evidently travel between dimensions without the use of the space warp car. They took I away so that most of the movie's plot can be explained in one huge exposition dump. Basically, Original I isn't Original I, but Lost World I. Original I got imprisoned in Lost World for finding out the truth, and they took Lost World I and brainwashed her into thinking that she was Original I, instead of just brainwashing Original I to make her forget whatever the hell it was she found out and saving a hell of a lot of time. But anyway, Zordon happens to be a character who we never saw in this movie before now, who wanted to live forever as this computer thing, and Original Yui's brother headed the research to pull this off, and he had to kill himself, or fake killing himself, with another miscellaneous dimension, miscellaneous Yui's brother, pull that off and escape Zordon, who is actually the bad guy of this movie.
Decker.
This new old bad guy sucked all the life energy out of Magic Maid from another dimension, and this kind of inadvertently killed her in order to turn him into this digital god thing, and
Decker.
he wasn't supposed to do that, so he had to get this other thing to cover all that up, and so he's actually responsible for Psycho Killer.
Decker!
What? I was just getting to the good part.
It's timey-wimey, Decker. The audience should understand that.
Yeah. I suppose you could put it that way.
Getting back to the point, Original I imprisoned in Lost World is about to be executed for something. Our intrepid band of dimension-hopping heroes decide that this is the perfect opportunity to stage a rescue.
It's a hell of a lot of gunfire. Might I ask how in the fuck they're missing?
That would explain it.
That and Imperial Stormtrooper marksmanship, those helmets make it really hard to aim through.
The team is able to rescue Original I, and the group plays catch-up for a moment. Just when it looks as though we'll have two eyes for our protagonist, evil Zordon materializes and kills Original I in less time than it took for the team to rescue her.
Meaning this entire portion of the movie has been completely redundant.
What are you talking about? Didn't you see the legs?
Seriously, is that the only thing you take away from this movie?
That's enough. In an effort to stop evil Zordon, Magic Maid teleports the survivors back to Original World, where Yui commandeers the command center.
どいて
Hold on. The hot ladies in miniskirts were holograms. They had a computer program running the computer, and they could make it look like anything, and they chose hot babes in miniskirts.
Well, what would you have made them look like?
Naked babes, thank you very much.
Remind me to have Decker banned from the Microsoft Store so he can't tamper with the HoloLens display.
After stuffing evil Zordon into the recycle bin, all seems well. Until we find out that the man who became Zordon in fact did not trade in his physical body and is still alive and kicking. Turns out he was using the spare Magic Maid, who is also still alive, to create the Zordon head. Because why do anything that isn't at least as convoluted as Prometheus fan theories?
You are answering the hate mail this week.
Evil guy 6 Alpha 5 on the ladies, but the women are able to easily evade Alpha's spinning kicks, especially as they don't land anywhere near them. This means I can easily take Alpha down with her gun, which has somehow upgraded to full auto.
And that is why you bring a gun to a kickboxing fight.
Impressive, I'll admit, but why exactly is it she couldn't have just done that in the first place?
It's the climax of the big action movie, Decker. Physics and logic don't apply in these scenes. Again, you should know this.
On that note, a headshot does not kill the big bad brain because of beads.
Oh yeah, the beads, the special beads of God's power. You wear them and God enhances your natural abilities. And Magic Maid was able to travel between dimensions without nosebleeds while she had them before and then lost them and got the nosebleed. But it turns out that when the brain got him, he actually got even more powerful than Magic Maid was with them somehow and is able to do all sorts of nasty stuff. But it turns out...
Timey-wimey, Decker. Timey-wimey.
That's your answer to everything!
It beats listening to you ramble. The review's nearly over, and we're still on the big fight scene.
The fight that erupts out of these circumstances is actually pretty kick-ass to watch. I mean, more so than the rest of this movie's combat. The music is upbeat, and the combination of powerful motions and just the right amount of special effects gives us a feel that is somewhat reminiscent of Dragon Ball Z. The cartoon, I mean, not the movie. The live-action movie.
We already knew that, Decker. Though I'm not sure I agree with you. No one stood around screaming for 20 minutes like their hemorrhoids are on fire.
Now, wait a minute, what the hell are they doing here? Oh. Still doesn't explain how he fixed the very out-of-commission robot in less than a minute.
Timey-wimey?
Damn it, that's your answer to everything!
It still works for this movie.
Alpha transforms into a battle chair complete with gun legs. This gives Ai the equipment upgrade she needs to vaporize the brain, leaving Magic Maid's beads intact, somehow. The film ends with Ai and her friends having taken over the Dimension Police headquarters so they can run it the right way.
And all is right with the world.
And the other world.
And the other one. And the other one. Though that one is still pretty messed up.
Good point. Anyway, that was Traveler's Dimension Police, and it had legs.
That really is the only thing you took out of this, isn't it?
It's the only part that made sense to me. It's actually a good thing that there were the huge exposition dumps in Act 3. I know that sounds really weird when you say it like that, but before the 50-minute mark, I had no fucking idea what in the hell was going on in this movie. People show up and do things, but there isn't much at all in terms of hints as to what it all means until the movie is mostly over.
I would have to disagree. Overall, I thought this movie had a pretty good balance between action, storytelling, and characterization. The pacing is very fast, and one can easily lose their way in regards to the plot if they don't pay attention. There are very subtle clues left hinting at the later reveal concerning Ai and the others, but I will grant you that they are easy to miss.
Oh, I saw them. There were plenty of mysterious flashbacks, but no real context to go with them when they arrived. Watching this movie again, it makes a lot more sense, but the first time through, what the hell am I supposed to understand about a tin of candy being stepped on? Also, the reveal that the brain was a human, and still is kind of out of left field considering we didn't see anything of said human character before that was shown to us.
Fair point. The ending, while action-packed and climactic, is not without its bumps. The movie on the whole is flawed, but highly entertaining. The characters are good, the story is a joy if you enjoy multiverse plots, and the action moves the plot along pretty well. Overall, Traveler's Dimension Police is a fun sci-fi romp with action scenes and a semi-decent mystery attached to it. It may not be for everyone, but I recommend watching it. Coming in at 3.5 Zordons Trapped in the Matrix out of 5.
While I was staring glassy-eyed for a lot of this film's running time, unable to even begin to piece together what the hell was going on, I will admit it was very entertaining. Yes, legs, but also the dimensional aspect of the story was really utilized here. We jump back and forth between the different worlds very often, and the fact that the major players here have several versions of themselves that each get quite a bit of screen time really helps to bring that to the forefront. It's not perfect, but it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, coming in at 3 high-kicking legs out of 5.
I'm beginning to worry that Decker's favorite creature on the planet is a millipede.
Don't give the fans any ideas. Imagine what the artwork would look like.
And I was scared when people started talking about sending yaoi artwork of the two of us. I still am. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I've been Decker Shado. And remember, don't kidnap unconscious women who happen to look like dead friends. You might be subject to untimely death via off-screen assailants.
Your advice gets weirder and weirder.